So, Josh, it was quite a final week to the season for you, and showing some of those additional things that you have in your game. But I just wondered how you, when you talked to Magic and Palinka and Luke about the season as a whole, what they took out of it, and then what you're thinking heading into this summer.
First and foremost, I think we all, we wanted to win. I think we accomplished that to a certain extent. I mean, but we all are competitive and want to be, in the playoffs. So, I mean, at that part, we didn't meet that goal. But, you know, for all the adversity that we faced, just with guys going out with injury, young guys, and those kind of things, we were successful in that aspect. We played hard, we competed. I think that was the biggest thing. So as a whole, I think it was successful. But got a lot of momentum going into this off season, going into next year.
Up until kind of toward the end of the year, you weren't talked about as much as Lonzo and Kyle, and people talked about the young core. They threw obviously Ingram in there, but your name didn't come up as much. I think it does now. But did that motivate you at all? Like, did you take notice of that?
Motivate me? Not really. Just because, I just go out and do my job. I think that's the biggest thing. I've done that since I was in high school. I wasn't the most highly recruited or talked about player. I just go out there, do what I'm supposed to do, try to help my team win, and if any benefits come from that, then that's cool. But it was funny because before my name was kind of mentioned in that, there was like an article and then it was talking about the young core, and it was like Brandon, Lonzo, and Bi, and then I forgot, I'm not sure who wrote it, and then like a month or a month and a half after that, someone showed me, it was kind of almost an identical article, but then it had my name in it, so I was like, that's kind of cool, that year's over with now, so it's just about getting better about this off season, and taking it from there.
Josh, you seem to find maybe an identity as a guard who would go out there and fight and get a rebound and also play defense. Is that how you've always been, or did you kind of adjust to find where you could find that role? And if so, how did you get to that role?
No, it's just always how I've been. With me, I want to be on the court, and I want to win. And I know if you play defense, if you can rebound, if you can knock down shots, and if you can play make, you're most of the time you're always going to be on the court. I think that's something that kind of played well into my hands, just because I was able to rebound well, able to guard, most of the time 2 through the 4, sometimes even at the 1. So when you're able to guard 3 or 4 positions, and rebound and play within yourself on the offensive end, a lot of times you're going to find yourself on the court. So I just try to be spectacular in those aspects, and luckily minutes came with that.
Josh, as the season went on, you started to show off more elements of your game, especially with the ball in your hands toward the end of the season. What does this summer look like for you in terms of working on your ball handling ability and just operating with the ball in your hands?
Oh yeah, that's one of the biggest emphases is that emphases. Villanova education, baby, 4 years. Emphases that I'm going to work on this all season. Definitely being more comfortable with the ball in my hand. Obviously, I was able to kind of show that a little bit later later in the season, but that's something I feel like I can get a lot better in. So that's something I'm gonna work my butt off on, this whole off season, and try to get as good as I can with that.
Early in the year, when they had you go down to play with the South Bay Lakers, how difficult was that for you, just mentally?
Definitely, totally different. I came from Villanova, which is a great program with a great culture, and at the beginning I was kind of struggling with certain things, and cause I'm new I'm new to a lot of this stuff, so I had a problem grasping some of those things, and after that it was just kind of like kind of control what you can control, and so I didn't look at that as, oh, let me feel sorry for myself. I'm over here, coming off a week I think it was like a week and a half road trip, getting back home, and then in 5-6 hours, I have to get on another flight to Iowa. So I didn't look at it like, man, poor me. I looked at it as, it's just time for me to step it up. It's time for me to get back to the player that I know I am. And luckily, Luke, Magic, and RP gave me another opportunity. Just moving me back up and kind of giving me minutes to kind of show that kind of like the player I can be.
I think the other day you mentioned that your parents came to like be with you for a few days during that time. Did they help with sort of getting that mentality?
Yeah, definitely. So I remember I was on the I was at the airport, talking to them, about the board, and my mom called me. I'm on the phone with my mom for like 15 minutes, and she's telling me things, and I'm just like, I'm going back and forth with her just because I was just frustrated with it, just a bunch of different things. And then she was like, so we just kind of hung up after like 15 minutes, and then she called me probably about like a minute later, and was like, "Do you want us to come?" And I was just like, "Yeah, you guys can come if you want, whatever." So I land, and probably about an hour or two after I land, she called me and like, "Yeah, we're in the lobby." So I mean, I had them, and I was able to hang out with them that night and the next day, and that night, and I mean, it just helped me just kind of remember, where I came from, remember who I am, and when you have rocks like that in your life, you're going to be good.
Hey Josh, you ended the season with 20 plus points in all of your last 4 games. Only 3 of the rookies had a streak like that this season. And you're a guy who's kind of done whatever the team needs him to, but do you feel like you've proven that you can shoulder some more of a scoring load next season?
A little bit. But like I said, that's, a year's over with now. Now it's the off season. Now it's time to show them, how much better I've gotten, from yesterday to, the start of, working out, the start of training camp. So, I mean, I think so, but at the end of the day, nothing that happened last year really matters, especially to me, It's about getting better, and it's about trying to instill a winning culture, here and with these guys, and I think that's the biggest thing. So, I mean, I might sit back this next week and a half, and kind of be like, this was a pretty good rookie year, and then after that, it's time to get back to work, and it's time to, show these guys that, it wasn't a fluke, that I can play at this level, and I can, help this team get to the playoffs.
Josh, earlier in the week, Luke said that he kind of calling you like a 3-and-D guy or something like that just isn't fair to you. It sort of doesn't give you enough credit for your other stuff. When you look at what your game could be in 3 or 4 or 5 years, like what do you picture like the complete game to be?
I don't know, just because I don't want to put a limit or a ceiling on, what I think it can be. I mean, I think I can. When you hear a 3-and-D guy, you think of someone that can stand in the corner, that can make some jump shots when they need to, and play defense. And I think I can do that, but I think I can do so much more than that. And that's one of the biggest things that Coach Wright talked to me about, going into the draft. And he was like, don't let anyone put a label on you. Don't let guys call you just a 3-and-D guy, because you can do more than that. And I think I showed that, being able to, create a little bit with the ball in my hands, go grab rebounds, start transition breaks, and do things in that nature, finish at the rim. So I think, I'm more than that. In 4 or 5 years, I don't really know what I can be. But I'm gonna work my butt off to find out what I can do.
Josh, after not being able to play much in summer league, were you expecting coming into the season to, be with the Lakers, through most of the season except for those 2 games in South Bay?
I honestly didn't really know what to expect, honestly, because you had some great young guys, especially with Londo coming in. Kuz having a heck of a summer league. You knew Jew was going to be here. They had Brooke that they just got. So you knew there was a bunch of new pieces that were here, and I was kind of hurt summer league, so I couldn't really show what I could do. So I felt like I kind of started off already a step behind, and then I felt like I started to kind of get it back a little bit during the summer, and then I got hurt going into training camp. So it was definitely different and frustrating at the beginning of the year, just because I didn't really know what to expect, and I didn't know how I would fare out this season. But luckily, like I said, they gave me the opportunity, and I just kind of tried to take advantage of that opportunity. So to answer the question, I didn't really know if I was going to be with the Lakers for most of the season, just because I had no idea really what to expect going in. Because you hear it from guys that's been in this position, especially like rookie training program, and just talking to other guys that's been in the league. Their rookie year, there's highs and there's lows, and I knew that. I knew I really wouldn't know how to handle that until I experienced it, so I didn't really know what to expect.
And given what you said about working on your ball handling and maybe even having a bigger role in the offense, would summer league be a good environment for you to test that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of times when you work out, it's like your trainer, or you and a couple other guys and your trainer, and you're doing, certain ball handling drills that that just can't carry over into a game. You can do, 10 between the legs, 2 behind the backs, and use 3 different screens and pull up in a workout, and that's like a drill. It's like you're never going to do that in a game. So I think definitely summer league would be a great chance to showcase what kind of what you've been working on this whole off season, and that's something I'm definitely going to try to showcase them, but at the same time not trying to go outside of myself and hurt the team.
Are you excited by the prospect of this team adding 1 or 2 max free agents this summer? I mean, is that something as part of the young core that you're excited to potentially see happen?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think if that happens, I think it could be nothing but great for this team and for this franchise. But our job as players is to work like we're not going to, like to work as if nobody's going to come here free agency, and to work as hard as we can, and to get to that next level. And I think that's the biggest thing. And if we take that mindset going into the off season and work our butts off and do those kind of things and get better, and we're able to add some great players in free agency, that makes this team that much more dangerous. If we go into this off season and think, oh man, we're going to make a splash in free agency, and for whatever reason it doesn't happen, then we're just kind of sitting here like we're behind the 8 ball. So I mean, I think that could be great, but we got to approach this off season like that's not going to happen, and it's it's on us to get this team to the playoffs.
Josh, just wondering what excites you about the young guys here, whether that's Lonzo and Kuzma from your draft class, or Brandon being about the same age as Lonzo. Why do those guys specifically excite you?
They're great, talented guys, and I think that's something that just really excites people. But one thing that they don't get to see on a daily basis is the work ethic and the character that they have. And you've seen in several games and several examples of those guys, when they're not scoring, they're doing other things. You've seen Kuz's defense this season get better. You've seen Brandon's playmaking get better. And so it's not just about scoring. They have the great character that forms a winning culture. And when you have guys that are not focused on themselves, not focused on their own stats, but want this team to win, and they will sacrifice, a part of their game to do that. I think that's what excites this franchise and myself the most, just because, you know, if you were a guy that was like, okay, I can score 25, let me go out there and score 25, and you know you're not making shots and you're still trying to score 25, you're gonna hurt the team. But if you think that way and realize you're not making shots and someone else is hot, and you know you do whatever you can to help feed that guy, or to, you know, if you're not making shots, to play defense or to rebound or to dive on the floor if we lose ball. When you do that, that what makes a team great, and those guys have that character and that personality to do those things.